run up, you get sent to heaven. Gotta thank God for sending me out of these blessings. Remember them days I was straight.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Chris, and we back at it again with another motherfucking banger, my nigga. Oh God. Hey, this video right here is called "Do These Rappers Have Any Bad Albums?" Let's get into it, my nigga.
Just like this.
Yes, sir.
But guys, much love for tuning in. 10 different rappers today. How do you feel about this?
I think you're going to be mad at me today. I'm going to be honest.
I'm going to be mad at you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those episodes where you kind of just look at me like, how did you make these decisions, you know? And
You've piqued my curiosity, my friend.
I'll tell you why. I feel like, I'm not sure, but I really, okay, the term a bad album, it has to be bad. Like,
Yeah.
it has to be unlistenable. Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, you know, Logic's Bobby Tarantino 3. I'm thinking like It's Only Me, Excuse Me by Lil Baby.
Total Xanarchy.
Total Xanarchy. Like, and we have some stellar rappers on this list today, and I'm holding them up to that standard.
Let's get
so
to
that's
it.
what I'm saying before
Let's
I
do
get
it.
into
You
this
got to
list.
be a fair critic at the same time. But
No, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying is that a mediocre album and a bad one are two completely
Yes.
different things.
Yes.
So,
All right.
Okay.
we
Let's
could
get
agree.
started.
You and I could agree
All
on
right.
that today.
I agree on that.
All right.
Let's get started. We have a bunch of rappers today, like 21, Tyler, Jay-Z, Nas, Gunna, and more. But let's start off with 21 Savage. And I feel like we're reaching a point where like there's a government mandate to have 21 featured on every album, and it is getting a bit oversaturated. And I do feel like stylistically he's due for some fine-tuning. But that being said, he's definitely one of the best rappers in the trap scene. And when you look at his catalog,
I
there
feel it.
isn't really too many low points, but I will say this, and tell me if you agree. When I look at the Slaughter tape, that is a bad mixtape. Again, it's not an album. That was like the first tape he ever put out, but you had him rapping over these Zaytoven beats, and
It's not even that bad, though.
no, it's bad. It's bad, bro.
It's not that
And
bad.
it's
It's a
funny
me-
because
it's a me-
that's a mixtape where he's giving you more energy, and it seems like when he dialed down the energy for Savage mode, you got a better product.
I understand, but even like the OG Slaughter tape, it's
Feel
not
that.
that bad. You could see like how he ended up coming above it, and I feel like yes, it's mediocre for 21
No, it's a
Savage's
bad
stand.
project.
Like no, like I don't put this next to like something like Bad Habits. I'm sorry,
Bro,
at least
you,
in my
you can't make
I'm
that
sorry.
be the litmus test for everything, bro.
Okay, but I do, like that's the thing is that I don't go into the Slaughter tape and be like this is completely unlistenable. No, like it piques my interest at certain points, and when I went through it, I'm like, well, okay, it's definitely mid. Like there's nothing really going on with it, but this is not a
How am I feeling about the Slaughter tape, man? I never really heard it. We probably gonna skip that.
bad album.
I
So,
just feel
or
like
a bad
those
mixtape.
anthemic and bright beats did not suit him, and the high-pitched inflections were really off-putting as a listen, and I think that one's bad. And then even looking at the Slaughter King mixtape, that one's a bit better, but still not great. But how did you feel about Issa album?
That's fine.
Yeah.
Nowhere near a bad album.
No,
but that's
it's
what I was
not.
gonna say.
Good
21
album.
Savage does not have a bad album. He doesn't. And I don't even want to touch the Metro Boomin stuff. Like there is legitimately not a single bad album. in this
21
man's
don't have a bad
catalog.
album.
Even at that, yes, I guess you could go back to like his older mixtapes and say, well, is it mid? Is it bad? But at that point, I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm gonna say he has nothing.
I'll
He does
say-
not have a bad project.
Doesn't have a bad album, but I think he has a bad mixtape with the Slaughter tape. But all right, let's move on to Tyler, the Creator, and I feel like there's certain albums from Tyler that I would consider mid. But to be honest with you, I feel like every time he puts together.
All right, look. This is my unpopular opinion. I don't like Tyler, the Creator. Simple. He just not for me. You know what I'm saying? I like that one song, Earthquake. Other than that, and that one song with Card, that other song with that's Earthquake. Yeah, that's just me.
But I think we could agree no bad albums
No
for
bad
Tyler,
albums
right?
for
Okay.
Tyler.
What?
How about
Next
Lil
up,
Wayne?
Oh,
man?
okay.
yeah, Lil Wayne. I mean, listen, 25-year career, crazy work ethic, someone who I feel like has not always attempted to make masterpieces per se, even though he does have legendary classic albums within the Carter series and within his mixtape catalog. But at the same time, I feel like when you go into a Wayne album, you're going in for him to flex his lyrical muscles.
No cap. No cap. When it comes to Wayne, I'm going to just say it like this. He got a bad album. I'm going to say it's the one with the multiple flows with Uzi. I didn't listen to all the music on there. You feel me? So it's just like, I'm going to say that one was a bad album because at least I was supposed to have 3 songs from that album, bro. I don't have 3 songs from that album. Maybe y'all do, but I don't have 3 songs from that album. Was it the Funeral album? Yeah, I don't nah.
For these epic anthems, and sometimes I feel like he's not curating these projects the best to his capabilities, and when it comes down to it, I think that he does have some bad albums.
I think he has 2.
Same.
I went with 2.
I have 2 as well.
He's just so legendary, bro. He can have a bad album.
Yeah, that's a mixtape, but yeah, the Fix Before the 6 is some of the worst Wayne music I've ever laid ears on.
Yeah, I didn't even understand the praise from the community. I'm like, are we listening to the same fucking Wayne project? Really? And it's just like, it was just so cheap, and, you know, the bars were... Listen, I can't criticize Wayne for raunchy bars. He's had it his whole career. And I've liked it in certain instances, but I certainly didn't like it on Fix Before the 6. But even looking at Rebirth, man, going back to this album, it's a bad album.
That's a bomb of an album.
Those would be my 2 selections for today. Fix Before the 6, and then after that, Rebirth. I think those are the only 2 acceptable answers. I do think he has certain albums that might be a bit more mediocre for Wayne's standards, but regardless, these are the big 2 outliers for me when it comes down to Wayne's catalog. Rebirth just didn't work as an album. I've said this before. I don't think Lil Wayne and rock music necessarily suits my ear. The cheap auto-tune was at an all-time high on this project, and there's just really, really bad songs.
Even
off
the
of this album.
instrumentals, like they sound like they were made by like a Guitar Hero protege who just decided to pick up an electric guitar.
It just kind of sucks.
Make
You have
beats.
dropped the world out of nowhere on this album.
I know, but I'm not gonna make one song make it.
It's a bad album.
It's a bad album without a doubt. So we agree there. I also have Funeral as being a bad album within Wayne's catalog.
I said that. I said that.
I think there's a couple of takeaways within that project. When you look at it, there's no direction. It's bloated. The singing performances are awful. There's a lot of fumbles too. A lot of random collaborations. For example, looking at the song that he had, Bing James with J-Rock.
What's going on, Twiz?
You have a really
What's up,
great
what you
lyricist
gang?
like J-Rock on your song, and you're deciding to have this distorted trap.
I'm changing the title right now.
Sort of giving you these really weak lyrics and a
Man, I'm
poorly
good.
written
I'm
verse.
good,
You have
gang.
J-Rock
How are you, bro?
spazzing
You
off.
also get songs like Mahogany.
Making
for
a YouTube
example,
video,
that are,
so
like,
you
top
say what's
tier
up to the
moments
YouTube.
within New Wayne's career. That's what I'm
There's
saying.
not enough of those to make it even a mid-album for me.
I think it's mediocre. I don't think it's a bad album. It's definitely not on the level of fucking Rebirth. That is for
No,
sure.
it's not that bad, but there's still varying degrees to what a bad album is to me, at least.
I don't know. Like, once you get to the bad category, bro, like, you're at the bottom of the barrel. That's
You
the
are.
reason why I don't want to bring in Funeral for this one, is that I find it mediocre, but it's not as bad as Rebirth. But
Okay.
If you could
Next
show me
up,
a
we
game
have
clip.
Jay-Z, who has an impeccable
Yeah,
discography.
I'ma look at it
One of
after
the
this
only
YouTube
rappers
video.
that we could say has 3+ classics within his solo catalog. But there is one album that people seem to universally
Come?
dislike, and that's Kingdom Come.
I went through it again.
Which was the comeback album. And to be honest with you, I think that like it's similar with Nas's catalog, which we'll get into later. But with Jay-Z, I think that because it's such a forgettable album, and I'll be honest with you, this is one album where it's like if it
Appreciate
was
it for the
released
follow.
this
Appreciate it for the
week,
follow,
I would not
Twiz. No
deny it.
cap.
But that
No
being
cap. No
said,
cap. No cap. No
there's
cap.
highlights on this album, and it's nowhere near being a bad album.
Bro, are you serious? It's actually a good listen.
It's a good album.
That's what I was going to say. I'm sorry I interrupted you. I went through it again for this episode, and I'm like,
Now, with Jay-Z, yeah, I got Discord. Hell yeah. With Jay-Z being such a legendary figure in the, you know what I'm saying, the world of music, I feel like he's another person that would have another mid album or another bad album. But, you know, me personally, I haven't listened to all the Jay-Z music. So, you know what I'm saying.
new rotation this week. I have some songs that I'm going to be putting into this rotation.
Bro, that prelude intro.
Crazy.
I
There are
bet.
some
I'm
crazy
gonna make
shit
sure
coming.
I
think
get
it
you
was
done.
maybe The
I'ma get you with that.
reception
I'ma
was
get you with
jaded
that.
because it was the return album after the retirement for the Black Album.
Yeah.
So people were like, well, this is not up to Jay-Z standards, yada, yada, yada. Kingdom Come is on the same level for me as like Magna Carta. I'm being honest with you.
And that's what I want to say is that he does have like
For sure,
Some,
gang.
like-
For sure.
Questionable.
subpar for his catalog albums.
does not have-
like a Blueprint 3 or a Magna Carta. But
Exactly.
no bad albums. Even Kingdom Come, bro. I was finding songs like Lost One where he's giving you really deep introspective writing about the pain and guilt that he felt after losing his nephew, which was based on a true story. And when you have songs of that magnitude, or even a song like an Oh My God where Just Blaze is going crazy with the sample loop, like there's too many highlights. There's too many amazing moments for you to be like, fuck
Even the
this.
Dr. Dre production on
Yes.
30 something, there's just way too many highlights on Kingdom Come. And some people have criticisms with like some of the Hard Knock volumes. But to be honest with you, I go back to those all the time, and I'm kind of okay with everything.
Yeah, the volume series is pretty fire in my opinion.
So I'm okay with. Listen, not even any mediocre albums, to my opinion.
Yeah.
At least with Jay-Z. But let's go into Lil Uzi Vert, all right? Because this is another rapper that Lou and I have.
Lil
criticized over the
Uzi.
past couple
Lil
of years,
Uzi.
kind of putting out lackluster projects that.
Come on,
seem
hold
to
on,
lack
hold on,
some
hold on. Before
direction
he starts
and,
slandering
kinda
Lil
finding-
Uzi, we just watched the Lil Uzi clip. No cap. Lil Uzi. Does he have a bad album? We taking, you know what I'm saying, all the ones we see on the screen before. I'm going with no. Lil Uzi is my favorite artist, my nigga. I'm going with no. Simple. Now if they prove me wrong, they cap.
in a situation where he's trying to find a sound, or maybe he has a sound, but it just doesn't sound complete to where it was maybe at when he first started off his career. And I want to say this, starting at Love Is Rage, I'm cool with that. We're not touching that, right?
No.
Lil Uzi Vert versus the World, we're not touching that. The Perfect
No.
Love Tape, we're not touching that.
Don't even bring these
All right,
up.
Love Is Rage 2, fine. I think it comes down to the Pink Tape and Eternal to Take.
Yeah.
Technically, for the sake of this episode, I could say that Uzi does not have a bad album, but the Pink Tape was on
And
the
for
verge.
show, gang.
That's exactly.
sure, I
how
got
feel like the Pink Tape was on the verge of bad. I mean, it felt like more of a playlist than anything. Even looking at the curation, you had like Werewolf and CS back to back, which were like Uzi's attempt at metal, which played off horribly. And then right after, you have Pluto to Mars, which
Actually,
is like
Werewolf is alright.
But anyways, like I
I'm
was
not
saying,
gonna give it a
Werewolf and CS,
bad
and right
take,
after,
though. This
you
not
have
a bad
Pluto to
album.
Mars, which is like a melodic.
It was a
Uzi song.
different
Like, How
album.
does this fucking make any sense? So poor curation choices. Apart from that, like you were saying, I think that Uzi is in the poorest form of his career in terms of dropping his two weakest albums back to back. Even though Eternal Take has grown on me, I think that he does have some fiery rapping performances on there. But Pink Tape was a disaster. Bloated Mess. Mid-album, though. Not a bad album, but it was on the verge of getting there. for
Yeah,
me.
so I'm gonna say Lil Uzi Vert, no bad albums. But
No
let's go
bad
on to
albums
Nas.
for
So Nas's career is interesting because people either underrate his catalog to the point to where like they just say like, well, he has maybe only one classic and he kind of fell off after his debut, which I don't understand. And then they try to nitpick Nostradamus. So I did a bit of homework and I went back into Nostradamus, and again, same situation as Kingdom Come. I found some songs that I actually really do enjoy again, and
I just don't
think
listen
it's
to
just
Nas.
Maybe like
That's
yes,
just me. I
it is
don't listen to
mediocre
Nas.
for like Nas's standards, but that is nowhere near a bad album, bro. I am sorry.
Listen, Nostradamus is one of those albums that like I'll never voluntarily listen to. I'll never wake up one day and be like, you know which Nas album I want to do a re-listen for? Nostradamus.
Nostradamus, there
No,
we go.
that's not gonna happen. But
They
I'll say
love
this, I
Nas,
think
though.
that
They love
there is a
Nas, so
stigma
they
around
not
it
gonna
because
say that
you
he
look
got a
at
bad album.
On the same page, then.
All right, let's keep going on with this. I thought you were gonna be mad at me for how lenient I was with this episode.
Honestly, maybe I'm just as lenient. I don't know, but I think that we're about to disagree with when it comes to Gunna. Because I
Gunna has
believe
no bad
that you say he has no bad albums. There you go.
Gunna has no bad album.
Hold on.
So what's the bad album?
Whoa, they already said they
listen, I
Gunna
think
ain't got
that-
no bad album. Let's look at these albums. Let's take a look at these albums right quick. Let's move my face. We got the fuck you mean. Then we got the, you know what I'm saying, the cool, the Private Island album. We got the Street Sweeper album. We got the One Call album. We got the Green album and the Drip and Drown. And then the Orange and the Copper Foreign album. Every single album, I got at least 3 songs. I'm capped. Except for the bottom with Copper Foreign. But I ain't even gonna cap. I'm not gonna say he got bad albums. Cause Gunna, he just so melodically flow with the shit. I ain't gonna say he got a bad album, my nigga. Let's get back to it. See what these niggas gotta say.
Really obviously enjoy the Drip series, the Drip season series, excuse me. I think One is a pretty good album. I think that A Gift and a Curse might be a mid-album, but it's not a bad album. So I would say that Drip or Drown 2 is the bad album within his catalog
What?
very easily. And I would say, listen, it's super cool to get like those atmospheric and aquatic beats from Turbo and Wheezy within the first half, but when you're going through the performances, there's no personality. There's no heart to the music. Gunna sounds so stiff for a lot of these performances, like he's putting no effort into this. Guess let's get a look at Ant's face right here because he's in absolute awe. Why? What did I do, bro? How are you gonna convince me that Drip or Drown 2 is a good album, bro? I'm sorry. You reach a point where like all the flows and beats just blend together. There's no catchy hooks. And there's a run of songs from like Big Shot to On a Mountain to Out the Hood where you have these cheap strings being sort of carried on.
Look, bro, this nigga just named 3 good songs. This nigga named just 3 good songs, my nigga. You can't tell me when you... I used to smoke, but like, you can't tell me if you playing Gunna, you playing that album, that shit not gonna hit. I'm a bitch, that shit hard, my nigga. That shit tough.
To the next and just recycled rhyme patterns, and you're like, what are we doing here? This is a bad album.
Man.
What do you have to say? What's wrong with it? It's Drip or Drown 2, bro.
Bro, this album is fire.
I go through like there's a
Come on, bro.
behind
Come
it.
on, man.
I think a lot
He
of
knows
Gunna
something.
fans appreciate this album. This is like one of those albums that I actually have in rotation quite a lot.
Trying to tell you.
I'm
Give me
going
that.
back
That
to
me up,
Derek
twin.
Jeter.
That me up, twin.
Well, Derek Fisher.
Sorry, my bad. You see how
Derek-
forgettable the track list
Derek
is?
Fisher, you should know your track list before calling it bad, eh? Songs like Who You Fooling on your Same Young.
Come
with Playboy
on.
Cardi.
Come
My goodness, what are you
on.
doing? How is this a bad one?
That bit be having me
It's like
groovy,
the
my nigga.
definition
That
of
bit
one
be
of the
having
most
me.
generic
That
trap
bit be.
albums there's out
Richard,
there.
but that's okay. You could say
It's
it's
so
generic.
generic.
I'm
It's
saying.
That's not a bad album, Lou.
Nah.
Richard Millie.
Come on, Lou.
There's full of bangers.
You
on this album,
tripping.
low key, bro. Come on. I've seen us bump this album. Like what?
You've never seen me fucking pull up Drip or Drown 2 and press
You have
play.
never played Who You Fooling.
I played like Three-Headed Snake here and there, but that's about it.
You've never played Who You Fooling.
I played it. I enjoy it. Not really. Not really, bro. It's not
I
a
don't
banger
even. I
to
don't
me.
even wanna. I don't even wanna give this time of day. I know I'm not gonna reason with you. I know how you feel about Gunna. I think this is an atrocious take. It is atrocious. This is a so. I'm not
we
saying.
recently did our top 50 rappers of all time list, and I'm low-key surprised you didn't put him there for how much praise you give him.
I fucking love Gunna.
Is he in your top 100, you think?
No, he's not on my good. Hey, don't try and fucking flip this on me and try
No,
to make
because
some comedic value.
you told me that I couldn't name 100 rappers better than Gunna. Then I did it, and now you're going back on your words saying that he wouldn't even be in a top 100
Don't.
list.
Okay. So,
What?
Regardless, though, don't even try to flip this.
What?
on me, bro. You just said Drip or Drown.
You
2 is bad. Let me know how
bugging.
you guys feel about that in the comment section
Absolutely.
because
You never heard one of these songs? All right, bet. Hey, y'all. Hey, YouTube, y'all come over to Twitch, man. It's a Twitch exclusive. Easy. I got you. But you walk into the club with this on? You walk into the club with this on? Look, I'm walking in with blunts in my hand.
that's not a good fucking take, man. You got to go back to this album.
Do
listen
these
to it
rappers
again.
have bad albums?
Let's go Lupe Fiasco. Lupe Fiasco is a
I
very
don't know who
awesome
this
artist when it
is,
comes to
bro.
his catalog. You have incredible albums in there all the way throughout.
I don't know who this is. I ain't even okay. I'm finna skip these. They talk about him for mad long. Meek Mill.
And it's interesting for Meek Mill just because I feel like he has like a very average catalog. You know, he doesn't have necessarily maybe a universal classic.
Does Meek,
but
hold on. Does Meek Mill have any bad albums? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Meek Mill don't got no bad albums. I can't say music is opinion based. Yeah, it is opinion based. This is a very controversial YouTube video. But Meek Mill, I ain't saying he got any bad albums.
he have too many poor
Do you
projects.
think
either.
people consider Dream Chasers a classic?
I think, yeah, I think it's part of like a
Hey, the
classic
fact got
mixtape
tough.
era, and it's one of those mixtapes that people point to.
I disagree with him though, so
Music was different.
you might not like my
Dream
music
Chasers
taste.
2 hit and shit. Like, I think people have that sort of.
But I'm not gonna touch any of the Dream Chasers.
No.
series. No, none of the DCs.
Definitely not.
The only one that I was really verging on, and I think we did even an album review to this, was Expensive Pain.
Exactly.
And going back to Expensive Pain, I'm not gonna lie to you, I might even consider.
That's
like,
an expensive chain.
Score down to bad.
Really?
Low-key. It's bro. It's like I was going back to it and I was listening to the forced flows and the auto tune and the subject matter, and it's such a lackluster project and there's not much going on for it. But I mean, listen, I gave it a mid rating, and for the sake of the episode too, like, I have to give it a bit more of like a deeper dive to say, like, okay, like I'm changing my rating now. So I guess basically because I'm playing on my review, I can't see he really has a bad album. That's easily his worst.
Well, yeah, I mean, I always appreciate versatility from artists. When it came to Meek Mill giving me a bunch of melodic, auto-crooning cuts, I'm like, listen, sometimes it is best to stay in your lane. Like, I go to Meek Mill for being a motivator. I go to his music to really hype me up and to really get me in a certain zone of hyped energy. And when it came to songs like Love Train on here, or Love Money, they're atrocious. They're really awful songs.
Would you say Expensive Pain is a bad album?
I'm not going to say it's a bad album, though, just because there are tracks on here like Hate On Me, the intro, or How and Moneybag Yo, that are good. You're getting that breathless flow from Meek Mill. You're getting that energy, but do they come too few and far?
Correct the mundo.
Yes, so
My nigga Lou. My nigga Lou speaking in facts.
I'll say it's not a bad album. I don't think he has a bad album.
I agree with you. All right, to end this episode off, let's go into Freddie Gibbs. I think Freddie Gibbs has one of the best, maybe a couple of album runs for the 2010s decade that we've ever seen. We're not touching anything with, the album.
Do you listen to Freddie Gibbs?
Into consideration, but any solo material that you feel like should be in contention here.
There's some that.
Is this an R&B artist, my nigga? I never. Who's Freddie Gibbs? This album right here look crazy. It look like he's singing about his ex, some shit. Freddie
like
Gibbs.
Cold Day in Hell, I think, has maybe some lackluster production and some beats that sound dated to me, but Freddie's performances are still pretty impressive throughout that project. I feel like the one album that people, point the finger at sometimes when it comes to Freddie's catalog would be Shadow of a Doubt. But even looking at that project, if I'm correct, I think that was like inspired by a shooting incident that happened to him outside of a record store where he was shot, and it was sort of like a reset mode for him where he sort of got more introspective on this album. You have amazing production from like Boy Wonder, from Mike Dean, so production hit for me. A lot of great performances, rapping alongside Black Thought. Like, yes, it's maybe the sleepiest and most boring Freddie album for me.
But the rapping is still like low-key top tier.
Pretty top tier.
Yeah, it's still top tier for Freddie standards. That's what I'm gonna say. He doesn't have a
He
bad
rap?
album. Even going back to like old like
Freddie
projects
Gibbs
and stuff,
rap?
for example. I really can't find anything that I'm like, well, that's
Boy
a bad
Fred.
Like, I would definitely cut songs off of Shadow of a Doubt, but I think it's still a pretty good entry into the catalog.
Yeah, it is a
So
good way to start
I don't think
off.
Freddie has any bad albums.
I don't
and
think Freddie
he
has
has
bad
one of the
albums
most
either.
consistent discography.
I don't know a Freddie song. No cap. But that's gonna do it for the YouTube video, man. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. More videos on the way. Y'all tap in with the Twitch. If y'all want some live content, man, we on this bit every single day, my nigga. Every day. Easy, my nigga. Let's do it. We out here.